Possums, good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you may be, whatever part of the world, we welcome you to Offensive Points, where today we'll be covering the NFC West. Now, back to another one of my little fireside chats. If you listen to the last pod or the one after this, you're probably going to hear the same thing, but the season kicks off in 50 days. So we want to welcome you to the best time of the whole year. It's draft season, baby. So get a boat, get some friends, and go draft. Josh, Billy, what's up?
Dude, I am just so stoked. Like, honestly, Scott Fishbowl kicking off is just the best part of all this, is that, like, draft season is among us. I mean, we all drafted our rookie drafts. Me and Joe are in this one where they just won't do it because people won't pay or because people don't want to draft yet because they want to know what the rookies are going to do.
I'm in one like that.
I hate it. I hate it so much. Just draft, man. The thing is, you could draft someone who's going to be the best prospect and have the best thing in the world, and they could get injured in preseason, or they could get injured on week one. Stop basing your drafts on injuries. Draft on potential. Stupid.
Yeah, kind of crazy. All right. We have one piece of NFL news, and then I have something I want to tell you guys about. But the NFL news is that Brandon Ayuk has officially requested a trade from the 49ers. Do we believe this is classic camp news, or there's been a lot of smoke around this? Is there a potential fire of Brandon Ayuk being traded?
There is a fire. I don't care. Joe, I'll let you get into your take because I know what your take is, but there is a fire here. He has posted a video where he made it seem like it was accidental, or maybe he just wanted to stir some flames or whatever. But how do you not pay the man? I'm sorry. Like, this man is the reason that you are here, other than Christian McCaffrey. So arguably, at least. Okay, but who else do they have? Who else do they have behind him? Nobody. It's those are
pretty Ricky, baby.
Pretty Ricky. They did draft. Okay, so that's the thing. You fan the Flames. They fan the Flames. The 49ers, the team, organization, whoever made that choice of drafting Pearsall with the number one pick, or their number one pick at least, fan the Flames. And this man, rightfully so, just caught 1,400 yards, like, damn near. Like, I mean, and he's going to go into this contract making minimums when he's watching everybody get the maximums. I'm not saying he should be the number one wide receiver. You know how I feel about the whole, the next wide receiver paid is the next best player or whatever. But, like, give the man a contract, man. Like, hopefully it's not just Ayuk. I hope that's not his thing where he's just like, I want to be number one over Jefferson and over Chase and over Hill and all these people. But give the man some money, man. He deserves it. He's a 1,400-yard receiver, and this team is in now mode. Like, y'all, I don't know if they realize it yet, but they are in now mode.
100%.
Well, I think the reason they're in now mode is the reason that they're not paying Brandon Ayuk. And we know he was studly. This whole team's studly. I mean, they have a great defense. Brock Purdy plays out his ass. Probably won't be as good if Ayuk doesn't play. But Ayuk doesn't hold the cards in this situation. He's on a winning team. Check. He got that. He's making 12 mil. Some of these guys are making 35 like Justin Jefferson. It's not fair, but he signed the contract. And that's why you have contracts. So he can either hold out and pay money, or he can play on this one and get his payday from probably a much shittier team next year. So if I was Brandon Ayuk, I'd be pumped. Why the hell would he want to go to the Commanders? Granted, the money, right? But why wouldn't you want to go for a ring? It's decided two coins, right? I don't know.
Maybe he likes Jaden Daniels. They played together at Arizona State briefly.
We know he likes Jaden Daniels. And it would be cool to see him go to the Commanders or Steelers or Chargers or wherever the hell everyone's voting for him to go. I don't think there's a way that he gets traded. That would be awesome. I just don't see a way.
I agree with what you're saying here. And yes, the 49ers are in a cap deficit coming up. Next year is like, they got to make some moves. They got to figure it out. But, like, are you really just going to, like, I mean, it's doing Ayuk dirty if you just, like, do that to him. And then you're like, yeah, man, thanks for the Super Bowl. Bye-bye. You know what I mean? Yeah. Go get your contract elsewhere. Like, you know what I mean? What if he has a bad season? What if he gets injured? It's the same argument every time with these contracts. It's like, show some good faith. You know what I mean? Like I said, you could do a 2-year contract. I know the man wants a 5-year or whatever. Like, pay the man money right now. You got to figure it out. Like, you need this man on your team. If you want, like, the thing is like, yeah, you are on a winning football team, but he is one of the reasons that they are a winning football team. So they have to figure it out, whether it's like, I don't know what the answer is here, but, like, they got to do something.
No, I agree with you. I just don't think he holds a candle. Sorry, Bill. I just think he's got a. I mean, you had a guy that was in the doghouse for 2 years and then had one good season. For whatever reason, he was in the doghouse. I don't understand why a team would give up a ton of draft capital and pay him the contract that he wants in order to get him. I think he stays in San Francisco if he wants that contract.
Well, it's just like if you're the Buffalo Bills, what's a second-round pick going to do that Brandon Ayuk couldn't? You're not paying any wide receivers on your team currently. You have everybody except for Josh Allen under very weak contracts or rookie contracts. That would be a perfect team where if they traded for him, he could play right away and they would be good right away. Like that would be a perfect option for them to do.
But why would the 49ers want to trade to get a second-round pick back?
Because you want a happy player on your team. This is the same thing they
you
did.
Don't you want to win a Super Bowl? Dude,
Yeah,
you know how many people would kill to make $12 million?
If they don't win the Super Bowl this year,
Joe. Well, okay, you know how many $12 million a year players want to be $30 million a year players?
A lot of
them.
them
can be. Yeah, well,
more people want to make $12 million a year, though.
Well, yeah,
I'm just saying that Brandon Ayuk is not Justin Jefferson. He is not Tyreek Hill. He is not. It's not. He's a good wide receiver.
The thing
is he not the second best player on this team offensively? I mean, that's not O-line
at this point in the career. Yeah.
Kittle, Debo,
on offense
Ayuk
are not better than Ayuk. That are not better than Ayuk. McCaffrey's number one.
They play different roles. Hey, I like Brandon Ayuk, but I don't think he's not the same level as the guys that are
you can probably replace Kittle. I would say that they're going to have a tougher time finding a player that's going to immediately go in there and be Ayuk right
Did you watch the receiver? Debo Samuel's the leader on that team, and George Kittle is the leader on that team. I like Brandon Ayuk. I think he's awesome. I just don't think in the grand scheme of things he is as valuable to the team.
Did Netflix just tell you how you feel about Ayuk?
No, I watched it. I watched the way those guys acted, and it was cool. I like Brandon Ayuk. I think he should get paid. I just think he has to wait that year to get paid and put it on tape.
He snaps his leg and he gets Michael Gallup, Joe. That's just the way things go.
No, yeah, I
can't. Whereas you're thinking, well, he's just going to get one more completely healthy year where nothing's going to happen.
I get okay. So this is the argument here. Like this is no.
Jefferson just did it and got hurt and still got paid. So
Justin Jefferson's built different. We already know that. But all right, this is the argument here. Ayuk wants to win a Super Bowl and needs to stay on the team, but he doesn't get anything out of it. The team needs Ayuk to win the Super Bowl. That's why we're at this crossroad. That's why, like, someone's gotta give, whether it's Ayuk, whether it's the team. I personally think it's the team because, like, you are not the same without Ayuk, and you're not getting anyone at this point because everyone's desperation for wide receivers. The only person you should have gotten is like Keenan Allen or something instead of the Bears. Why did the Bears get Keenan Allen? If you knew this was going to happen, we all kind of knew this was going to happen. I feel like the conversation kept happening. They drafted Pearsall for a reason. Which, like, he's not coming in and going to be Ayuk. Like, you're not getting that immediately out of the gate. So, like, it's just tough, man. All right. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. It's an unfolding situation. I'm sure it's going to be all of camp talking about this. I'm sure when we go to the expo, everybody's going to be talking about it there. And by the way, we're recording this on a Tuesday. If something happens tomorrow, we're unfortunate about that. That is just the way of the road. It seems like these news stories always drop on Wednesday. Seems like these news stories always drop on Wednesdays for some reason, but this one happened to drop on a Tuesday about the request, so I don't know. All right, before we actually get to football stuff, I have something I wanted to tell you all about. So you both have Instagram. Have you dealt with Instagram targeted ads?
I know about them just because of work and stuff.
Fair enough.
I no longer have Instagram, but I know the ads.
Probably smart, Joe, just for the way life goes. I hate Instagram, but listen here. So, you know, when you search things, they end up in your targeted ads and they kind of try to focus on products that you might actually buy. Well, for just shits and gigs, I was looking up what would a cruise down the Mississippi cost? Like just maybe for a weekend for our guys. Maybe like 3 days. Maybe we could just hop on for one night just on a boat, just draft on there, gamble a little bit on a riverboat, you know, just something easy. Well, first of all, that's not a thing, or at least nothing I could find. And the company I came across, these cruises are like 10 days long, potentially longer.
Viking ones?
There's that one. There's a month-long one. There's like some that can take up to 3 weeks to do. and they're all like $8,000 to about 15 to 20 grand. All of them that I could find. And I was like, I'm never going to do this. And I'm never going to convince anybody I'm going to do this. And I'm curious who is actually doing this. Have you all ever actually thought about cruising down the Mississippi on a riverboat?
No, because it's brown. There's a European version of this that's way better. And you can like go through like these amazing like bluffs and stuff like that, which I'm not saying Missouri doesn't have and Illinois doesn't have and all these other places don't have. But like, it's the freaking Mississippi River, man. Like it's great. It's been the lifeblood of St. Louis. Obviously, we're all St. Louisans here. We know about the Mississippi River. If you don't know about it, go Google it. It goes through the whole country. It's fine. But it's mostly brown because of mud and grossness. But like
big muddy.
That's not pretty.
No.
Like
I definitely want to go on a Viking River cruise.
Amazing to see.
That is
it's still amazing to see. But
I think the ladies would kill us, Billy, if we did a month-long draft.
Well, yeah, River. I didn't even know that was I didn't know that was an option to literally stay on a boat for a month in the Mississippi River. Like, I'm not a longshoreman. I'm not working here for a month and then returning. Can you imagine? Like, that'd be crazy. Anyway, why isn't there just a cruise for like 3 days where you could just head? Maybe not even 3 days. Maybe it's just 2 days. Maybe it just goes down and back to some random
a day.
Sure, just so we could draft.
And a bus grabs you back because you're not really that far away. You're 2 hours away, 3 hours away. It's like a float. Float trip.
Exactly. It's a float trip with
Mississippi River float trip.
With a casino and some drinking.
Seems like a miss.
And nobody. It's not a thing. Like, I couldn't find anything about it, and all I could find was these cruises for $5,000 where you're taking 7 days to do it. I'm like, who can do this?
Dude, I went to
time to do this.
Me and Kristen went to Spain and Portugal for like 9 days, and we spent like under $3,000. Like, why would I spend individually $5,000 to cruise down the Mississippi? Like, I'm
sorry, all the cruise heads out there. It's not a real cruise. Like, a cruise is in the Caribbean or up in Alaska, where you can see some cool stuff. This is not that, and the prices are outrageous.
And there's someone doing it. Someone's paying that money.
I need to see
I'm
it.
I'm sure we could find a barge crew somewhere
that would just let us tag along for a while.
Yeah.
Jake would be the one who got us on that barge.
Yeah.
Well, that's
like, I know this guy named Possum. He'll take us up the river.
Well, anyway, all of my Instagram now, that is my targeted ad, is for these cruises down the Mississippi River. And they say the low price of $3,500. And I'm like, that's not a low price. That is
so
outrageous.
My Instagram,
out of the country for that.
These shoes, these Nike Jordan golf slip-ons, they
amazing.
Came on, they popped up. I bought them immediately. And then I was like, I got to delete Instagram.
It's not good for my wallet.
I mean, they're comfortable shoes, but
at least it's a usable thing. I'm not going on a cruise, so I'm down, especially not down the Mississippi.
You said the word cruise too much. Instagram's just going to keep targeting those ads.
Well, I happened to look at it for a draft potential location, and that was my downfall. So everyone out there, it doesn't matter what goofy thing you look up. Instagram's looking. They're always looking. Doesn't matter what goofy thing you look up. They're coming for you. So
Danny's got a boat. We could just drag the lily pad up the Mississippi.
Yeah,
everyone would die, but
it's definitely safe.
That would definitely. Life jackets wouldn't even save us there. Anyway, on to the NFC North. We are previewing the last division in the NFC. Sorry, that was a
NFC West
hard turn. Oh yeah, NFC West. It is a hard turn from Riverboat Cruise and Instagram to NFC West. Cardinals, Rams, 49ers, Seahawks. I will start with the worst team. That is projected to be the Cardinals. So, starting with the Cardinals, we got Kyler Murray going as QB7, 79 overall. I kind of actually expected it to be a little bit higher. I would have thought that maybe he would be going in the 5th round potentially because of the rushing upside alone, but maybe people are curious to see what he's going to be, and I can't blame them. We don't actually know what Kyler Murray is going to be this season. Last time we saw him, he was pretty good at the end of last season, but nothing special. I'm interested to see what they do as well. I think this is kind of a make or break year for them. I think they need to go out and get a wide receiver personally to really make this go over the top for Kyler. But same time, the team they got, we're gonna roll with it. Running backs, they got James Conner going as RB24, 88 overall, and Trey Benson, RB33, 110 overall. Both of these guys are very capable running backs. I see the appeal with James Conner. He kind of seems like he's either going to be the guy that you're like, well, duh, he did it again, or he's going to be one of those like, we saw this fall off coming from a mile away. Of course, this happened with Trey Benson. So I would say if you take James Conner, you almost have to pay for Trey Benson, which is not a life you want to live, but you're probably going to be kicking yourself if he falls off of a cliff. But James Conner's been pretty consistent at the end of these last couple seasons, and he's definitely won people leagues. He won me a league. I took him as my RB2 in a wide receiver heavy draft format, and between him and Najee, they ended up winning me a title. So I definitely don't think he's completely gone and buried, but as Leonardo DiCaprio would say, he is 29 years old. I get it. He is kind of getting up there in age, but I think if you take James Conner, you're trapped with taking Trey Benson too. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I don't think it's a detriment to a draft though to do that. Like honestly, you're talking about your 9th round pick that you're sacrificing here. You know what I mean? 8th round pick maybe.
Yeah.
You've got primarily, I would imagine 3-3-1-1 of running back, wide receiver, quarterback, tight end. Instead of grabbing a 4th running back, you're just sealing the deal with the Cardinals. And I don't hate that because this team's going to need a running back to stay alive. We're hoping that Kyler Murray stays healthy. If he doesn't, what these running backs can do on this team. I mean, I'm not upset about it. I don't think it's like it'd be different if Trey Benson got a lot of hype right before redraft and you're like he's going in the 6th or 7th. Then you're kind of like you're actually at a loss of you're missing out on your 3rd of something or your quarterback or tight end. Then that's where
it becomes shock you though if Benson just had a meteoric rise.
Would not. It would not.
Because see what Conner does.
Yeah. No, I mean, I could see like him doing something in camp or James Conner, like, hurting his pinky toe. And the next thing you know, Benson's right up there. But no, I agree with you. And I think, this is a good year to handcuff your running backs. If you get Bijan, get Algier. Really solid. Back him up. If you get Mostert, get Wright. Like that sort of thing. So Conner and Benson makes a lot of sense to me.
For sure. And I think, we all have not seen eye to eye with James Conner being good throughout the years, but you can't knock what he's done at the end of these last couple seasons. And if he can do it, makes you think Trey Benson can maybe do it. So I definitely think it would not be a bad idea to grab both.
This is probably the best offense he's been on since Pittsburgh.
I would say so for sure. Yeah. Definitely has something competent about it. Plus the coaching is a lot more competent than it was the last couple of years. So that definitely helps. All right, on to the wide receivers. We have Maserati Marvin Harrison Jr. going as wide receiver 9, 13 overall, which at one point I like it a lot because I like Marvin Harrison Jr., but on the other hand, he is a rookie. He does have Kyler Murray throwing to him. We have seen that work in the past, not necessarily a rookie, but a wide receiver working well with Kyler Murray, and we're all just under the assumption that he's going to come right in and be Jamar Chase right away, or Justin Jefferson right away,
or Marvin Harrison,
or regular Marvin Harrison right away. All that's possible. I guess I'm kind of in wait and see mode. I don't know. There's just something that's prevented me from taking him in all of my redraft leagues so far, which has only been 3, but still, there's just something, I don't know, that's holding me back about him. We'll get into that in a second. But Michael Wilson's going as the second wide receiver on this team, wide receiver 78, 178 overall. Think this is a huge value. I get it. Zay Jones is also on this team too. I don't believe in Zay Jones like that, so Michael Wilson's my guy. I think he had a decent connection with Kyler, and I think it grows this year. And if they don't add another wide receiver, I don't see why Michael Wilson would be bad. So I definitely think that is somebody to add onto this team. They also added Zay Jones. Didn't play a whole lot last year with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I guess we'll see. I don't know. These one-year contract guys, I don't really ever see them end up working out like you hope. It doesn't always feel like that, like with the Lions or with the Chargers, or it just always feels like when you sign a guy like this to 1 year, it never ends up being like, it never is the good side of whatever that 1 year was supposed to be. So I'm actually going to mention Greg Dortch too. Wide receiver 88, 211 overall. He's not being drafted currently, but I don't know. I like Greg Dortch, and I think that he could actually be something in this offense. I don't know what that means or what that is, but I just think he can be something more in this offense. And then as tight end 3, we got Trey McBride, 47 overall. I do think he is the guy. Like, if you're not going to take the top 2 guys, I think Trey McBride has been falling far enough in these drafts to where it kind of makes sense to take a tight end if you're going to take a number 1 tight end, because he is about 4th or 5th round, I would say. And that's probably about right for me. If you want to go heavy on tight end, like that's your actual plan, this is your guy. This is the wide receiver 1 from last year on this team. We'll see how Marvin Harrison cuts into that, but I have liked what he did. And if you held him from 2 years ago, he paid off handsomely, and he's going to continue to pay off for years in Dynasty. So what do you guys think about the rest of this offense?
I think you just about nailed it. I think Michael Wilson's the number 2 wide receiver other than Trey McBride, which is the clear number 2. Marvin Harrison, I want to believe. And if you got him in Dynasty, I completely understand. But second round, man, like it's always rough having that rookie pick be that high. Like that's too much. Like if he, and I know it's back end of the second round, but like 3rd round, I'd feel better about it. You know, even if you had, like, say you had first pick and you got to go Christian McCaffrey, or say you have a better pick for it, and then get Marvin Harrison on that double up, I'm cool with it. Like, I'm fine. But more than likely, where he's at right now, 23, technically, he wouldn't be available. And like,
yeah,
I don't know. It just seems like a little rich. Like if you're what other wide receivers are around him? Olave, Evans, Debo, Devontae. I mean, in that sense, I think I want all of them over Harrison at this point, just because we know what they have done. Mike Evans is always going to get 1,000 yards, probably 8 touchdowns. Debo has that versatility, not to mention the hype surrounding, or not the hype, I guess, more like issues with Ayuk right now with contract. And then Devontae Adams, like, it doesn't matter who his quarterback is, man, it's still going to get 1,200 yards. I mean, there's just so many options there that's tough for me to be like, I really want Marvin Harrison here. But you put him down 6 picks, 7 picks later with Drake London and like Waddle, like, yeah, I want him more than that.
Yeah, I think. Do you guys think his ADP falls coming into the season? Because we have a lot of dynasty brain here.
It's hard to see it because he is projected as the wide receiver 1 that people will sell on him, because it's going to take one camp clip where he makes this insane grab and people are going to be like, well, the chef's cooking today. And it's going to be like, okay. And, you know, you're going to see the fire emojis. And I think people are just going to really fall in love with him. And it's not that he's a bad receiver. It's just, I don't know, something that's off about it.
I mean, here's just where we're at as a community, though, because, like, I mean, personally, if you took the guys going back to like 2021 and just lumped them all together, Marvin Harrison's probably the most polished coming out, especially with who his father was. I know we love Chase. You know, no one thought Justin Jefferson was going to do what he was going to do. So, I mean, I would say it's between him and Chase. But the problem was in 2021 in redraft, Chase was a 6th round pick. Jefferson was a 9th round pick.
Felt like it, yeah. Especially after these balls are different than college footballs or whatever the hell that was. Like, yeah.
It kicked him way down. So, I mean, I just think in redraft specifically, Marvin Harrison's almost. I mean, you're sacrificing a lot to draft him.
You're hoping that he's going to be Jamar Chase year 1. Like, that's what you're hoping for. And
it's possible, but
which I think he's going to be great. I just don't know if he's going to be a top, 6 guy, which is kind of what you're paying for right now.
It's crazy. I know I'm going to end up with him on a team just so I can.
Yeah, I'm in enough drafts for
just so I can have the fun. Just because I just want the fun. I want to have fun with everybody. Like, that's what a Marvin Harrison pick is. It's just having
really
fun. So, you're not trying to win. You're just having fun. And that's what
I could see him slipping a little bit, though.
It's possible. It's definitely possible. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. All right, on to this makeshift defense that they put together. They got rookie Darius Robinson from Mizzou, which we're all happy to see. Glad that he's actually probably looks like he's going to get the starting role as well. Zaven Collins, he's been a typical up and down roller coaster ride. Chris Barnes, he's been resurrected from the dead from Green Bay and brought down to Arizona. The only thing I like about this is I like the defensive coordinator. Like that's the main thing I'm happy about this for. Well, at least I like Jonathan Gannon, and then I like the defense that he puts in place. So it's not that I don't want these guys to succeed. It's just I'd love to see it. Kazir White's down here. I think he's a really good value. I definitely will be picking up some shares of him. And then you have, of course, the Sean Murphy-Bunting, Buda Baker, Jalen Thompson trio that I think could produce some good numbers this season. And then also, I would love to actually see BJ Ojulari be good. It was Dennis Gardeck last year, but I would actually love to see Ojulari prove what he was supposed to be. So, yeah. What do you guys think about this defense?
I just want to say Zaven Collins is going to be good when he leaves this team. It's the same Hassan Reddick. It's the same Hassan Reddick situation where you put a linebacker as an edge rusher, but he's not an edge rusher. He's kind of like an outside linebacker, the 3-4 system. Zaven Collins is going to be good. I want him to be good here, but it didn't happen for Reddick until he left, really, as well. So I just feel like it's the same concept. But yeah, other than that, I mean, this defense has good. This is the fantasy defense here, right? Like this in real life, they're not doing shit. It's going to be ugly. The games are going to be rough. They have a tough division, which we'll get to shortly. So, but Buda and Jalen Thompson is one of those guys who just like always gets like 10 points in IDP. And it's just perfect.
Like it. Yeah,
I think realistically, it's Kaiser White and the two safeties. I think you could take a shot on Ojulari. I'm not touching Collins. Darius Robinson's okay in Dynasty. I know Mac Wilson's been getting a lot of hype, but I mean, he didn't do anything for the Browns or the Patriots. So maybe he breaks out. I don't know. I'm not touching him.
If it's Dennis Gardeck that ends up being the starter, take him.
Hey, I rode that in the Kings Classic. I was really weak at it.
It was bizarre watching it because you're just like, I don't know who you are, but I love this. You're doing this every week. Okay. I'm ready for it. Yeah, exactly. Wish I had that sound clip still.
I know. It's so sad.
All right. Cardinals are 6.5.
You guys are dicks for that clip, by the way.
It was all Billy. I didn't do anything.
Just caught my ear when you said it.
No, I didn't say it this time. I caught myself.
It's good.
No. So we got the Bills, the Rams, the Lions, the Commanders, the 49ers, the Packers, the Chargers, the Dolphins, the Bears, the Jets. They have a Week 11 bye week, and they go to Seattle, Minnesota, Seattle again, then Patriots, Panthers, Rams, and San Francisco.
But I caught a lot of those fringe teams. Like
that beginning sounded tough, though. I mean, really tough. It got
what was the number again?
Back half, 6.5.
I think they can do it. It's not because I believe in this team, but I just feel like 7 wins isn't that hard.
I don't think they can do it.
I'm going over.
I need to believe it, or I need to see it before I believe it.
I mean, with a fully healthy roster, they can do it. Let's put it that way.
I mean, they have a rookie wide receiver. We have a Kyler who we don't even know. The offense we project to be good. I don't know. We'll see. I do believe in the coach. Like that's the one thing that's got me thinking that like maybe this could work out is the coach.
Well, it hasn't worked out yet. But
they'll be competitive. It's only been one.
I want to say, I think the Rams and the Bills, even the Packers, the Chargers. I mean, I could see Miami losing to them easily. So I'm gonna go over. Yep, I'm gonna go over.
Oh, proud of you guys. All right, we're headed to Seattle. Joseph.
Oh, Seattle. All right. So we got rid of Shane Waldron and we brought in Ryan Grubb. So I just want to say, in Grubb we trust. That is my motto this year, and I'm sticking to it. Grubbing it up. So, Grubb was with the Huskies. He was with Penix and Adunze and McMillan, whatever you want to say. So exciting offensive coordinator coming in. Pete Carroll's gone, so we shouldn't have as much of that conservative nonsense as we've been seeing in the past. So it should be more exciting to watch this team. The problem with this team is this offensive line. They got some young guys. Hopefully they can take a step, but it was atrocious last year, and I don't see it getting too much better this year. With that said, Geno Smith's awesome at his value right now. Where is he at? I got him at QB 23. QB free. Absolutely free. We saw in 2022 he was a top 10 quarterback. 2023 was a little bit rough. But here's the thing. Shane Waldron's gone, and we're going to get rid of that nonsense where we're not going to use JSN. We're just going to use Metcalf and a bunch of tight ends. Now we're going to see Metcalf. We're going to see Lockett. We're going to see JSN on the field along with Noah Fant. He has a ton of weapons, plus the running backs there. I really like Geno Smith this year. I think we're going to get away from that, mostly running stuff, and we're really going to open this offense up. Should be a little bit more exciting. So I like Geno Smith. Not saying in a 1 QB he's going to be your starter, but in a 2 QB or as a sneaky backup drafted late, Geno Smith is pretty good. And then DK Metcalf, he is, absolutely, he's what he is. He's wide receiver. He's 21 now, which is kind of crazy. Wide receiver 21. He should be going a little bit higher. DK Metcalf in a more opened up offense, I think, has a very high ceiling and a very high floor. So I think he could absolutely go off and have his best year yet. I wouldn't be shocked. So DK Metcalf's value right now. Tyler Lockett, he's going to do what he does, but JSN is going to start taking from him and be more of the – I think Tyler Lockett takes a back seat to JSN and Metcalf. He is essentially, wide receiver 51. He's going in the 9th round. If you want Lockett, that's fine. But JSN is going right next to him, basically, maybe a round or two higher. I would rather have JSN than Lockett. Let's get him on the field. He hated Waldron because he wouldn't use him. So ship Waldron out of there, get JSN on the field. I like both of those guys. And then Noah Fant, he had to go with Kobe Parkinson and whoever the hell else was on that team, tight end-wise, Will Disley, that they use all the time. This is his first time in his career where he has a confident offense, and it's his show. So I like Noah Fant a lot. He's still young. He's only 26. And being the only show in town, I could see Noah Fant having a career year as well. So fairly excited about this offense. And then the running backs, Kenneth Walker, extremely explosive guy. He gets stuffed a lot because of that line. And we haven't seen him do the receiving work that we would like, although he got a little bit more last year. They brought in Zach Charbonnet, who was supposed to, and they were kind of using him as that pass catching back. But when Kenneth Walker got hurt, he got all of the work. So I think they like both of these guys a lot. It's just going to be a headache of a switch. I do think Zach Charbonnet gets more work this year. I don't think it's going to be 50-50. I think Walker is still your guy, and I'd be happy to draft him. But Zach Charbonnet at his price, I am not upset with. I mean, he's going at 132. So grab him in the 11th round. He's not the worst 4th, 5th back on your team.
The value for all these guys is nice, honestly. I will just piggyback on Noah Fant. He looks like honestly, 500, 600 yards for what he's done. It's just he's free as a cheap backup or really fill in. Honestly, I feel like he'll be a fill in flyer at any given week until he breaks out. And so you want him to be on your team if he does do that on the off chance. So
yeah, I like getting Fant on your team now. Bill, you like any of these guys?
No, I was just thinking with Ryan Grubb being there, he is different than Shane Waldron. And so Shane Waldron was a run first guy. Grubb is a very pass heavy guy, even though he did use Dylan Johnson a little bit. So I don't know. I'm actually interested to see. I think this offense could be very high flying, whereas I don't know if Geno can keep up with it, but I'm excited. And that does mean Noah Fant could be involved way more than he has been so far.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like Geno this year. I got a feeling. In Grubb, we trust.
Best offensive coordinator he's had. At least it's not in terms of usage, maybe, but in terms of how he can maximize Geno Smith. I think that's probably the best he's gotten. I don't want to scare you, Joe, but I don't know how Shane Waldron fits in with the high flying act that the Bears have. So I don't know how that's going to work, but I am excited to see the Seahawks now that they're potentially going in opposite direction of that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you about Waldron on the Bears. I think they're going to have to work something out, but I don't know. Getting Grubb in here is awesome. In Grubb, we trust. Again, I like saying it. So defense, Leonard Williams, they brought him in. They re-signed him. Good things there. Draymond Jones, we thought we were going to get really good stuff from him last year. He didn't end up being that guy. Boye Mafe is still kind of the same way, but they did sign Byron Murphy. So this is a very stout line. They're going to get a lot of tackles. Leonard Williams is really the guy I'm interested in here. Not so much Boye Mafe. Byron Murphy was kind of a run-stopping machine. He's not going to get you any sacks, but he could get you a lot of tackles, especially if he does wrestle away the starting job. And then at linebacker, you got a really interesting situation. So you got Jerome Baker, Bobby Wagner, Jonathan Brooks are gone. You get Tyrell Dodson and Jerome Baker in here, and they drafted Trice Knight. We're just going to have to watch in camp to see who gets this. Tyrell Dodson was okay in Buffalo. He didn't really wow anybody. So I wouldn't be shocked to see Jerome Baker and Trice Knight be your 1 and 2 at the end of the year here. It'll be interesting to watch. Nwosu coming off the edge, awesome. And then I did not realize they got Rayshon Jenkins. That's really going to be awesome running next to Julian Love right there. I think they'll have a pretty awesome pair there. To pair with Reek Woolen and Devin Witherspoon, this is going to be a hard team to throw on.
Definitely.
There's a lot of value on this defense too in drafts and IDP purposes.
Yeah, I think Mafe is going in a nice little spot.
I'm part of the Mafe hive. Seahawks over under.
Wow. You said hive? I'm sorry. It was right there.
Yep. Seahawks 7.5.
Really slacking on this schedule thing, boys. It's hard to talk and then have the schedule pulled up at the same time.
Sorry,
all right. No, you're good, man. I'll pull it through for the crew. We got the Broncos, the Patriots, the Dolphins, the Lions, the Giants, the 49ers, the Falcons, the Bills, the Rams, a Week 10 bye week, 49ers, Cardinals, Jets, Cardinals, Packers, Minnesota, Bears, Rams. I like it. I'm going to go over.
I just feel like the talent on the offensive side wins this. And not to mention, you mentioned a lot of good defense. Obviously, they're not what they used to be on defense, but like there's still talent there. That secondary is really good. Their team should be able to score a lot of points offensively. So I'm going to go with over.
Yeah, I think I am too. 8 and 9 does sound realistic. I guess so.
Tomlin.
Which
Tomlin
did not see that coming.
I would say, just from a fantasy perspective, I mean, Arizona and the Rams and even the 49ers don't really have the best defensive backfields. Don't have the best defensive backs. So it's another reason I really like this offense here.
Yeah,
true. Definitely not a no-fly zone. All right, Josh, on to the 49ers, the best team in the division.
All right, well, I don't think you really have to overthink this. And honestly, the value is not as bad as I thought it would be for this team when looking at the rankings. Obviously, everything is up in the air with the whole AX situation, which we touched on earlier in the podcast. But at the same time, let's check out these people. Anyway, Brock Purdy. I think the doubters can shut the fuck up at this point. Going as still like QB 9-10 in drafts. It's Purdy's a great discount if you're not the type who's going to bite high on the top 5 QBs. I mean, we talked about the tight ends in one of the last pods. I don't know where the line is on tight ends, but honestly, I feel like there's at least 10. I mean, Jordan Love's late. Purdy's late. I mean, I'm fine with Purdy as my quarterback, trotting him out there. I feel like there's probably about 7 where, you cut off at the elite level, but like, what's stopping Purdy? QB6 last year. What's stopping him? Maybe A, but at this moment, we don't know. Christian McCaffrey, number 1 overall. You know what you're getting with Christian McCaffrey. I don't need to tell you. Like, he showed it last year. He showed it pretty much his whole career. When he's on the field, he gets 20-plus points in fantasy football. The real question is, who is the number 2? Who is the backup if McCaffrey does get injured? This on Sleeper says Elijah Mitchell is still the number 2 back. I don't know, man. Like, it might be Cody Schrader. Like, they drafted him for a reason. Undrafted, I guess. Signed him for a reason.
Okay.
Cody Schrader. Sorry, my apologies. I literally said that, and I was like, wait, they didn't draft him.
Well, I was like, wait a minute.
They did not draft him for a reason. They literally did not draft him for a reason. But he is on this team. At the moment, if McCaffrey did go down, I think it's a split between the two of them in reality. Hopefully we don't have to deal with that because nobody wants the number 1 pick to go down. Wide receiver wise, I can't tell you where this situation is, but at the moment, 17th overall is Debo and 19th overall is Ayuk, and that is wide receiver 9 and 10 out of the draft. I will say we should have, by the time redraft really gets into the full swing of things, this should be cleared up, I imagine. I don't think they make it to the draft in this point either. AX gone. AX says he's not playing and sits out for a few weeks until he gets a contract, or like we'll have more clarity on this. So this shouldn't affect this as much. But at the moment, Debo Samuel, like if you happen to be redrafting like right now or anytime soon, Debo Samuel is an absolute steal at this point. And honestly, in reality, as wide receiver 15 last year, while missing a few games, we know what he can do. And you know he's going to get some rushes as well. But it's more of like if he's the only guy there, he's going to do it. After that, of course, we got Pearsall, who's actually starting on the NFI list. I didn't ever actually see why that news came out today, and I'm not 100% sure why at the moment.
Said it was minor.
Was it minor? Okay. So the tough part is he gonna without, let's say AX on the team here, who's seeing the field? Jawan Jennings was great in the slot last year and actually looked really phenomenal in the limited roles that he had. They also have just one of the best fullbacks in the game who's always on the field, Kyle Juszczyk. So it's really tough for that third receiver. Pearsall and Jawan Jennings are never fantasy relevant until one of these two is gone or, they decide something different. And then George Kittle said there's lost a lot of weight over the offseason. Basically rehabbing, I think it was a couple different things. And ribs and calf or something like that. Shoulder and toe and fractured ribs. Okay, cool. Glad sleeper.
Knees and toes.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes for Kittle. I will say, as tight end 7 off the board at the moment, everybody hates George Kittle already. So like the value on him is just even better at this point. I actually really like Kittle. I mean, especially if you're grabbing a tight end 8, you're probably grabbing a tight end 10, tight end 11 as well. Like you're not risking it by like, Kittle's my guy and I'm done. Also, once again, we'll clear up. Regardless, long story short, they're 49ers, man. They were the NFC champions last year, and they're probably on their way to do it again. I hope not, but they should if all things goes correctly for them. So you want these people on your team. I don't think that their value really matters.
True. I think that's completely true. I don't have much to add. I mean, this team's pretty straightforward. I don't see any surprises. I don't see Shanahaning all over the place. Like he's kind of backed himself in the corner. He's got to play a normal offense with normal players that are, everyone expects these people to be good. So unless Pearsall does something bizarre, I think this is a pretty straightforward team.
I think maybe Pearsall probably takes over Debo Samuel's role eventually, if that's the case. So that's why AX.
The weird thing is he doesn't play that. He plays like a deep downfield role. He's like 6'3" or something. So like I don't even know. It's not as good as Ayuk though. That's the thing. But whatever.
I mean, obviously, but he's the next one. That's why they drafted him. They didn't know what was going to happen. Obviously, it just seems right. But anyway, let's not get into this debate again. Let's touch on the defense. Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw are going to keep doing their thing. I mean, those are the two linebackers. But then you add in Devondre Campbell.
Is Dre Greenlaw playing this season? Because he tore his Achilles, right, in the Super Bowl. So he might be out for this year.
Well, at least for a majority of it. Okay, that makes a lot more sense why Devondre Campbell's here, because I was like, how does this man have a role? So thank you for clearing that up for me. Nick Bosa is probably the number 1 defensive lineman in the league, arguably at the very least. And then, of course, Hufanga had a little bit more of a down year last year, but honestly, he's more of a big play guy, so it's going to happen. But, one of those guys, the safeties that you want, because big play guys, in my opinion, are the players you want who still have a low floor or a high floor. So, and that is him. Jair Brown had a pretty good season as well last year, but I'm not like buying high on him. Other than that, Hargrave, great defensive tackle if you play those kind of roles. And then Leonard Floyd had a pretty decent year last year in Buffalo and, closer to the end of his career, but at the moment still can make some plays. Probably going to be more on a snap basis. Anyone else I missed? Malik Collins, I guess, too. The D-line's amazing.
Yeah, that's Eli. I read somewhere that Trey Greenlaw was going to try to be back for week 1. I don't think there's any possible way.
How?
That's what he was saying. That's what they were saying. Jair Brown, solid. No, I had 2 things on the offense I wanted to add to. I love Deebo Samuel this year. Absolute stud. Get Deebo Samuel. And then the other thing that I've seen in drafts is Isaac Guerrero is going above Elijah Mitchell, which is a mistake. I know he's fast. I know he's flashy, but Elijah Mitchell is way more solid. I think he'll have a little bit more of a role this year. And he is absolutely free right now. So go get Christian McCaffrey's backup and throw him on your bench.
Yeah, honestly, the fact that I understand they always draft running backs. I haven't even thought about Grendo, in my opinion.
Well, it's funny because it was Darian Price, and then it was Mason, and then now it's Grendo.
They haven't hit on one in so long, and the fact that they didn't draft Cody Schrader, I guess in my brain, I've just made it up that that's the guy.
This has been going back to Mostert, right? I mean, it's like Mostert came out of nowhere, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, we got to get the 5th round pick for the 49ers."
Mostert and Carlos Hyde. Yeah,
and Jeff Wilson too. He hit for a little while at least.
That's true.
Yeah, Jeff Wilson too.
Kind of come out of nowhere. That's a good point.
Christian McCaffrey's a little bit more established than any of those guys, so I don't think you're going to see.
I feel like even if you did actually see, and we don't want this, but if McCaffrey did go down, I just feel like it's going to be the worst committee in the world. Like there's just too many mouths to feed type thing.
Yeah, I think Mitchell will get most of the work, so I think he has the value, but.
I'm not banking on a guy in the 16th round because this isn't even one of those Alexander Madison situations where if Cook goes down, you got the right one. Nobody's sitting on that in redraft at least. And Dynasty, snag all of these guys. You never know.
No.
Yeah, that's true. The over-under for the 49ers is 11.5.
They get to take on the Jets, the Vikings, the Rams, the Patriots, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, the Chiefs, the Cowboys. They have a week 9 bye. Buccaneers, Seahawks, Packers, Bills, Bears, Rams, Dolphins, Lions, Cardinals.
What is that cakewalk schedule? And now we're not even talking about the division.
The beginning was pretty easy. I do think it gets a little tougher at the end, but 12-5, that sounds
easily
right to me.
I would say more probably. This is the 14-win team. This is probably the number 1 seed in the NFC. That was an easy schedule.
Probably who you would be fighting for that, yeah.
Over.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. On to the last team, and that is the Rams. Matt Stafford is back. QB 19, 151 overall. Had a pretty decent season last year. You thought with Cooper Kupp going down that was not going to be the case, but he ended up finding a diamond in the rough in the 6th round. So Matt Stafford is going as QB 19. Look, I think you kind of know what you're getting with him. I do also feel like he is literally built of just strings and wire at this point and could go down at any time. And I don't think that would shock anyone, honestly. A light breeze might take him down. The fact that he's multiple years older than us right now, and I know how sore I am in the morning, makes me concerned.
My back hurts right now.
Now add a spinal injury to that. So I don't know.
Right.
Last year was crazy to me because I did not think he would make it through the whole season, and he did prove me wrong. But I think this year, I don't think that's the case. I think that there's a good chance of injury. I'm not wishing it upon him, but I say there's an elevated risk. How about that? And then behind him is Stetson Bennett the 4th, coming back, a triumphant return from issues off the field. That's what we'll say. He got some help with some things, and I don't know. The QB position on this team is not something I would invest in, at least not to feel good about. Maybe you take this, maybe take Matthew Stafford as your second QB if you're one of those kind of people, but I would not be after this QB situation at all.
Yeah, fair enough. I always love Stafford as a late round QB though. If you really just completely wait on it and you're in a 12-man, Stafford's a great person to have as your 1 or 2 if you need.
Josh, you know what's concerning about that though is we have literally been saying that for 10 years. Is that I'm glad we get Matt Stafford late. Like, man, he's just a guy. He's grab late.
He's just always there, man. And like 4,000 yards every season. Like it's hard to say. Like, I mean, yeah, this might be the end, but then you'll go pick up a new one. Go get Bryce Young or something. I don't know. I'll do running backs again because I just love me some running backs. But Kyren Williams, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if this is forever. Currently going as running back 8 in the second round, 16th pick. There's a very good chance that he is that dude and will always be that dude. They drafted Blake Corum in the second round, third round? I guess it was a little later. Third round. Okay. I don't love that. That kills me because Blake Corum was the reason Michigan made it to where they made it in the college football championship and just the way they played as well. I mean, this was a running football team. Blake Corum is gonna have a role. Like we gotta acknowledge it. Who was the guy behind Kyren that everybody Akers tried to make Akers a thing, never was. Kyren is amazing. I love him to death. After what he did last year, got me to I think at least 2 championships. I don't know what to tell you, and I just can't say go draft Kyren in the second round. I mean, I understand why he's going there because of what he did last year, but like Corum is there, and we have to acknowledge the fact that he is there and he could cut into this workload. And the Rams are one of those finicky teams that would have that happen. I'm not saying go draft Blake Corum, but like I don't know what to do, and I don't want to tell you either way. I'm not saying don't draft Kyren, and I'm not saying draft Kyren because I don't know. It's like Zamir White to me. I think I missed that pod, but like I think he's the dude. I think he could be, and he clearly has the opportunity, but there's just this guy standing behind him. There's Alexander Madison standing behind him.
Well, there are just guys in drafts that are like, you don't draft them. I mean,
yeah.
I like Kyren Williams a lot, but at this point I would let someone else have him because Blake Corum, like you said, could easily be, getting at least 50% of the work, could be getting slightly more. I don't know. I like Kyren Williams as a player, and he could return to where he's at, but I'll take another guy that's right there that I really like. I'd rather have Josh Jacobs over him.
Yeah.
The only other thing I have to add to that is I'm glad they got Boston Scott and Corum, so we don't have to answer Ronnie Rivers questions anymore.
Boston Scott's going to be like all kick return, and then like he's just going to piss you off and steal a touchdown against the Giants.
Well, by the way, that's what I was going to say is this guy, like, who knows who's scoring the touchdowns for this team? Because literally Boston Scott's a good goal line back. Blake Corum's a good goal line back. Kyren Williams last year was a good goal line back. So Lord only knows who you're actually going to get at the goal line.
And like, I hate to ask this question, but like, was Kyren Williams good because he was the only one? Like, I hate it. I hate that I'm asking that question. Because, like, I could be completely wrong. This could be running back 1 in the league, and you could be getting him in the second round. It could be a steal.
Well, we know McVay likes using one back because we saw, of course, it was Gurley. So,
right.
It's just tough, man. I think I'd just rather now. I was in a dynasty draft recently, and I got Kyren in the 6th round. Like, I'll take that all day.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's going right now, I'm not messing with it.
The redraft hurts my brain to be that high.
Yeah. I mean, the thought process is you have McVay, you have a running back, just press start and let's go. But we thought, we thought Akers was going to be that. And then Akers fell off the face of the earth because his body hates him. And then it was Kyren. So it's like, well, what if this toy breaks? Like, is it just now it's Corum? Like, just I don't know.
Let's play the game of what running back would you draft over him? Let's go with the one directly underneath him. Travis Etienne.
Etienne.
Pacheco.
Pacheco.
A-Chain.
50-50. Definitely not.
Kyren.
Josh Jacobs. Ken Walker.
Kyren.
Okay, so that's where we draw the line because it's Joe.
So it is. I guess I don't know. Maybe we are overthinking this.
No. You said 3 of the 5 that I just named.
Yeah, but there's not a ton above that, right? I mean, there's what?
But then you got Montgomery a couple later, James Conner a couple. Like I know we're talking rounds later. This is just running back rankings. Like I'm just saying, like, are you really investing your second? Like, and I'm not even talking about wide receivers.
Definitely not second. If it's in if I'm the back half of the third, I'm staring at Kyren Williams. I'm probably grabbing him.
I'll grab Kyren in the 3rd all day. I hope he slips. I don't want.
Not second, more 3rd.
Yeah. Okay. We're done.
Would you take DK Metcalf over him?
I think that'd be a question, actually. I think I'd flip a coin.
Yeah, he's
If it
going
was
right
second-
between DJ
second
Moore
round,
and
yeah.
DK Metcalf. So
Third round.
I would take DJ Moore over him easily.
So if this was the third round, I went wide receiver. Kyron would be the perfect person for me to take in the third. But
I think DK is just
I feel like he'd be a better like 2, because that way if he does shit out or if he does do half of what we expect him to do, and Corum does get more work, then at least he's your second running back. So maybe he's like, if you fuckers are crazy and draft 2 running backs to start off, go Bijan and Kyron or something. Like
I hope McVay tips his hand in preseason a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah.
We shall see.
All right.
Wide receivers. Do you remember the first 3 weeks last year when Tutu Atwell was like wide receiver 5 or something?
That was wild.
We don't need to talk about Tutu Atwell, but I want to shit on some people's hearts, guys. Puka Nacua is not going to score more points than Cooper Kupp this year, and you are wasting a pick at wide receiver 10. Just saying it right now.
Yeah.
Puka's going to wide receiver 10. Kupp's going to wide receiver 18. I would take Kupp all day and twice on Sunday over Puka Nacua. Do not draft him. You're wasting a pick. And then at tight end, Demarcus Robinson. He had a role last year, and he actually looked pretty good doing it.
Good.
So Demarcus Robinson, solid like wide receiver.
But that was the Kupp fill-in was what it was.
No, he scored points with all 3 of them on the field.
Yeah, I was about to say it was a 3-headed monster.
Oh, that's fair.
Honestly, you kind of just took it away from Puka, which was the most frustrating thing if you were a Puka truther.
Yeah, which, I mean, dude, Kupp's back. Kupp's going to be the one. Him and Stafford have a great thing. I like Puka. Puka's a great player, but I just don't think he repeats what he did his rookie year. And drafting him at wide receiver 10 is chaotic, in my opinion. And that's just kind of like what we were saying about Kyron. I'd rather just avoid it and take somebody else. I'd take Devontae Adams all day over him. I would take Marvin Harrison over him. Deal. Done. And then Colby Parkinson going tight end 30 could be solid as your tight end. Higbee's making his way back from the ACL. So I would like to see in camp to see if there is a connection with him and Stafford. We know he liked Higbee. I didn't like Higbee, but we know Stafford liked Higbee. So he could have some value there. And that's about it.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take care of the defense unless you have anything to add to the offense.
No.
Nope.
Okay. Defense is trash. There are 2 people you want on your – 3 people you want on your team. It's Ernest Jones, Byron Young, and Cameron Curl. Maybe John Johnson if you're really desperate. The defensive line after Aaron Donald's gone is nothing. We just got 2 rookies to come in on the edges and the defensive line. Teams are going to be able to run on this team. Let's just put it that way. The defensive backs and linebackers, the linebackers are going to sweep up so many tackles because everyone's going to sweep in. I would say first pick overall in drafts could be Ernest Jones or Byron Young. I know it shouldn't be, but it could be because we're talking 150 tackles easily for one.
I love Ernest Jones. Ernest Jones is awesome. My argument with Byron Young is with Aaron Donald gone, I think he's who they're going to have to focus on because Jared Verse is a rookie. I don't think Fiske really brings anything right now. I do like Kobe Turner. He looked pretty solid last year, but I just think losing Aaron Donald puts you behind so much that. So, yeah, I like Byron Young a lot, but I just think we have to consider the fact he might be less effective with Aaron Donald gone.
Yeah, it's fair. Well, Ernest Jones is probably the number 1 linebacker at the end of the year, tackles wise at least. Like I just feel like they just walk into his lap the entire season. So
yeah, could be. It's crazy.
All right, Rams over under is 8.5.
And they're being nice. We got the Lions, the Cardinals, the 49ers, the Bears, the Packers. Week 6 bye. Raiders, Vikings, Seahawks, Dolphins, Patriots, Phillies. I almost said Phillies. Eagles, Saints, Bills, 49ers, Jets, Cardinals, and Seahawks.
Can't wait for Saquon to run all over the Rams.
Under for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with under. I'm gonna go with under as well. But honestly, I'm liking not the draft location, but I'm loving the Puka and Cups stashes because you are going to get so many points this year. It is going to be just play from behind all season. Honestly, I kind of hate Kyron now. I dislike that even more. I don't want Kyron on my team anymore. I just feel like this team's not going to have time to run.
I think this is going to be a good. It's like the Cardinals were last year, where it's like competitive but not good enough to actually win the game. I think that's what we're going to be looking at here for me personally.
I just think this division's tough.
This is what this is the downfall of the Rams right here. This is what they did. They wasted all their first round picks to win now, and now they are losing now, is my thing. So I'm going under.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll go under.
Wow. Okay. Well, that is all the teams. We'll quickly go over the playoff picture as far as we see it. We have the Eagles in the playoffs, Lions in the playoffs, Bucks in the playoffs. Josh wasn't here for that. That's what we chose.
I would have chosen
and then the 49ers. Those are the division winners. And then for the other ones, we have either the Falcons, the Bears, the Seahawks, or the Packers. It's four teams for 3 spots.
I would say Falcons or Seahawks don't make it. I don't know. Honestly, that's a really good toss up there. The Bears could miss it too.
Yeah, I would say Chicago misses it.
You think so?
I don't think
as begrudgingly as I want to say.
I think the Falcons are one of those teams that looks good on paper but can't win the games. Kirk Cousins isn't Mr. Clutch.
It's completely possible, but that team, the defense is also probably going to need some work, but they did just get a defensive-minded head coach in there, so usually that ends up better for the defense, but they still don't have the players. I don't know. I just feel like you pay Kirk that much money, you drafted a quarterback 8th overall, you better not be a non-playoff team if you did that, or you are about to get roasted
they'll probably hit that
forever and ever.
Wild card. They could win the division.
I'm choosing the Bears.
All right, Bears it is.
Green Bay out? Okay, wow.
Fuck them.
Green Bay has a chance to win that division. I hate to say
I'm sorry you have a perennial fucking playoff team, Josh. All right.
Okay, I'm sorry that we finally figured it out. And honestly, this has shades of 2010 Dream Team all over it again anyway, and I fucking hate it. Because if someone says it, I'm gonna fucking kill whoever it is. Just kidding. That's not cool to say right now.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just in a video game. It's Call of Duty. He's gonna kill them in that.
Yes,
so
100%.
In case any censors out there are watching.
All
right, boys, we have completed the division previews. This is it. We did it finally.
I missed
2
a couple
months
of feels like
of doing division previews, and now we can finally turn the page and head straight into redraft. We got the Expo coming up. We've got rankings coming up. We've got injuries to talk about. We got hot takes to spew. We have all sorts of stuff coming up here. This next month is really going to be a fun month of content because we are going to start fighting, which is fun, and then we're going to get you ready to win your leagues and win some money. We haven't. We've been very cordial, but Josh became a dad. That kind of softened him. Me and Joe have just been doing this since we've done all the previews, have just kind of become buddy, which is not good for the pod. So we need to ramp up the spice a little bit.
We need to do
rankings. That we've been
do rankings next week.
We have.
Yeah, we need to do rankings, something like that. I don't know, something to get the spice flowing a little bit. We'll heat. What does that friend say? Didn't he say this?
Careful though, it's spicy.
Gotta love some rest.
Spicy.
Definitely. All right, Joe, send us into the night.
All right, my friends. Sometimes you just need to be like Bob Dylan and turn the page. Good night, possums.
Thank you for watching the IDP Plus YouTube network. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Be sure to tap the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new content.